being a medium, I'm always hearing the departed. It's just a part of who I am. So when I actually walked into the room, I actually heard of a young male who had departed. So do you connect with that?
Yes.
And you passed in tragedy here in the physical world.
Yes.
And I felt as though it was like a brother to you, but he showed me friendship. So the two of you are close friends here.
Very
in the physical?
close. Yeah, he moved with me.
Okay, wait a minute. Don't tell me anything.
All right.
Know that one of the things that he's explaining, because he just said to me that he wanted to be able to reach you. He tells me about the fact that you were so close, but there was distance between the two of you, that you lost touch with one another. Yeah. And then next thing you know, you had found out that the two of you went on very different paths within life. Because he said to me that he did things that he was not proud of here in this world. And he talks about the way that you had found out the news unexpectedly about his passing. Yeah. And he says that he's sorry for the way that you had gone and that you had found out. He says that you still wish or think about that you wish that you'd have known some of the things that he was going through, because he tells me about the way that he was having some issues with family and within his own life. And he tells me about the fact that he was going to, I keep hearing him living with different people or going to live with others. Do you understand that?
Yes.
He says, I could not find my way within life. He says, and you still wonder if you would have called him or if you would have reached out to him or had communication with him if things would have been different. He says that one of the things is that he wanted to come through and say to you today was about the fact that you did not change or could not have changed anything that went on within his life. He says that he wants to take responsibility for that. He tells me about the fact that, and I'm sorry to bring up some personal things, but he tells me that there was some drugs and alcohol that was involved. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
And he says to me that he was not in his right mind many of the times of what was going on. He actually tells me there was a little bit of relationship issues or some relationship problems that he was going through. Yeah. He says, my life was a mess. He says, and I want to let you know that I always knew that you were there. He says, and I always knew, he says, that I could reach out to you or connected. He says, but I had too much pride. He says, I didn't want you to have to worry about me. He says, and more importantly, he tells me that you found out afterwards that he would check up on you or look through some of the things that you were doing and how well that you were doing. Because he says to me, even on the other side, he's like a guardian angel that's there and watching over you.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And I want to step forward with you as well, because I just felt, and your grandmother departed, and your dad passed as well.
Yes.
So no, it's their way of acknowledging that they're on the other side. Because I felt like you know, your dad trying to come through, but I felt there was a grandmother there almost like pushing him away, because she's very high energy as I'm connecting with her. And she shows me about the fact that when I'm connecting, she was almost like a homemaker here in the physical world, because she's showing me like running around and like cleaning everything as I'm connecting. Do you understand about her personality? Like she was up very early in the morning. She spent time, like I feel like she's rearranging heaven as I'm talking to her, like moving everything around.
Yes.
She tells me that when she was passing, there was multiple issues that were going on within her body.
Right.
Because she tells me about the way that I feel it right in my chest as I'm connecting with her. She also tells me that one of the things that she wants you to know is about the whole family's on the other side and watching over you. She talks about a move. Did you just move? Perfect. So now it's her way of just congratulating you on the new house or the new place of living and letting you know that she's there. She's pushing your dad forward to speak as well, because your dad wants you to let you know about how much that he loves you, and more importantly, about the way that you talk to him all the time. He tells me about the car conversations, where you're talking to him in the car, either when you're on your work or on the way to work, and do you connect with him with like pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters? Because he just said to me, he says, that's our sign with one another.
It is. Cool. We play cards with like quarters and...
Oh, you did? And then did you find them, or did you find them after your dad's passing and say this was him?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect, because he says to me that he wants you to know that. So know when you got those different things that wasn't coincidence. That's your dad's way of letting you know that he was with you right at that exact moment. He says, I know about the way. He says that you stepped forward to try to keep the family together after my passing. He says, and more importantly, he says about the way, he says that you were there, he says, holding everybody close. He says, and I want to thank you for that. He says, because I never got to express that to you. Wow. He says, and I want to let you know, he says, about how much that I appreciated that. He says, because I knew when I left this world, he says, that you would take care of everything. He says, because you were always there taking care of everyone else that was around us.
Thank you so much, man. Let me tell you this, man. I'm a believer. Now, this is so phenomenal, and what a great experience to just experience. I'm shaking right now because it's kind of surreal, and I want to thank you, man, for giving me and giving Stephanie.
Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that meant.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. Absolutely.
All right,
we'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, that was Matt Frazier. Obviously, he has been doing this for a while, but you will notice the look of incredulousness on the man's face. He was not expecting this reading. I don't believe, now they're all on TV, but I don't believe that this was set up ahead of time. I believe that this was very heartfelt, if you will, especially the woman who clearly wasn't quite expecting to get the emotional reaction that she did get, right? So this was very well given. Obviously, they're on a time limit, and so he has to give it quickly, so he's not necessarily going in saying, do you understand that? Do you understand that? Do you resonate with that? He's just giving the information, and as soon as he knows he has the right person, it's almost almost a channeling kind of feeling. And then he moves directly into the next spirit and gives her the reading. This is very well given. This is what a reading, even a micro reading, should look like. The information should be coming in at a fairly good clip. It doesn't have to be quite as fast as he is, but it should be coming in on a fairly quick clip, and you should be resonating with the information. This should not be a question and answer time. This should not be, yeah.